This next video is to share with you the answer key for student standard number 1 on our chapter 8 formative. So looking at standard 1, it says the 6th grade class is going on the museum, or going to the museum for a field trip. The museum charges $4 per student plus $5 for every hour you are at the museum. There's also a one-time service fee of $15. It's important that we note that it's one time. Write an algebraic expression to represent the 6th grade's total cost to find any variables. So the first thing that I want to do in a situation like this is define my variables and think about what I don't know and compare that to what I know. So I know that there's a $4 charge per student, but I don't know how many students. So I can represent that with a variable, and I'm going to write my variables on the bottom of my page just so that it's easier to see. And my variable, I'm going to use S for the number of students. So S equals the number, and I'm just going to use a little symbol for number of students. And then I'm going to have N equal the number of hours they're at the museum, because I know it's a $5 charge for each hour, but I don't know the number of hours. So N equals the number of hours at the museum. And I might run out of... And I ran out of room there, but that would mean museum, okay? So, S equals the number of students, N equals the number of hours at the museum for the group. We have a one-time service fee of $15, so let's write an expression to represent this. So first, there's a $4 charge for every student, so I'm going to say 4S, because there's 4 times the number of students, which is S, plus $5 charge for every hour, so 5 times N, which is the number of hours they're at the museum, plus that one-time fee of $15. So that's my expression for this situation. 4S plus 5N plus 15. So then the next part says, use your expression to solve the following. The 6th grade class has 75 students to go on the field trip, and they stayed at the museum for 4 hours. They were required to pay the one-time service fee. How much will it cost for an entire trip? Show all work. What's great about writing expressions to represent a situation, once you have the values, you can just plug them in and solve. So I have my expression, and now I have the number of students and the number of hours. So instead of S, I'm going to write 75, because that's how many students there are, plus, and then I have 5 times, and 5 times 4, because that's how many hours there are, plus 15. Right? And now I can just follow my order of operations to solve. So 4 times 75, I know 75 times 2 is 150. So if I double that, because 4 is double 2, that would be 300 plus, and 5 times 4 would be 20 plus 15. Right, so 300 plus 20 plus 15, and that would equal total $335 would be the cost for the entire trip. For the trip. Okay, that would be my cost. Alright, so that's my cost. I'm going to circle my answer there, because that expression, is a beautiful thing. It allows me to plug my values in for my variables and solve away. So that's the first part of student standard number 1. The second part of standard 1, you have to write an algebraic expression that represents each situation. So Patrick read 15 pages per hour. How many pages did he read in X hours? So they give you the variable, which is X. X is the number of hours, and 15 pages per hour. So that's simply going to be 15 times X, or 15X. Lily has 24 pens to distribute among a group of F friends. How many pens does each friend receive? So if she's distributing them among a group of F friends, we don't know how many friends she has. It could be 4, it could be 6, it could be 12. We want to know how many pens each friend gets, and each friend should get the same amount. So what we're doing is we're splitting the pens into even groups, and we're splitting things into even groups. That's division. So 24 divided by F would represent that situation, or you could write it with 24 over F, because a fraction is the same thing as dividing. The last one, Alexis can write 10 text messages in 10 minutes. How many text messages can she write in H hours? So 10 text messages in 10 minutes. So 10 in 10 minutes. How many text messages can she write in H hours? So there's different units there, so I need to do some conversions. So if I'm thinking about hours, if she can write 10 texts in 10 minutes, how many could she write in 1 hour? Well, I would have to take 10 minutes and multiply that by 6, because there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. Okay, so 60 minutes per hour. And what's nice about that is the text messages is the same as the minutes. So you're going to have 60 text messages in an hour as well. So how many text messages she can write? 60 each. Because in 1 hour, she can write 60 text messages. So that's Student Standard 1. Hopefully that gave you some confidence going into the celebration for problem solving. Make sure you check out Student Standard 2 to check the precision standard.